All right, how's it going, everybody? This is Corey Lee, and today this is going to be one of my very first podcast style videos that I did here on this channel in a long time, probably since I first started my channel, and that was maybe about I would say since like 2020. So I started this channel probably like the end of 2019, 2020. It was just beginning to be the pandemic. In fact, I believe I started my channel about 6 months before the pandemic, and I really started working on it a little bit more around the pandemic time because that's what gave me more time to believe that I should work on it more. It's what really put me in a position to see how necessary things like these are. So, without further ado, the whole reason I'm making this video in the first place. And so the real reason this video is being made today is because I have been running into a lot of situations where people are beginning to lose their faith in God. And not only are people beginning to lose their faith in God, people are starting to become more open about their disbelief in God. Now, maybe some people have been like that, and I just really don't know. Uh, but I personally believe that a lot of people are starting to be like this more and more as time go by, simply because unbelief, especially in God, is the name of the game. It is the spirit of the age. And it's just one of those things that has become more popular these days. It is the popular thing to do, to dislike God. It is the popular thing to do, to express how you feel about Jesus Christ and the church. And then, speaking of the church, that's that's one of the even bigger problems to it, is that a lot of the issues that has been wrong with the Christian church behind the scenes, things that people have been afraid of talking about, people are now starting to speak out about like never before. People are being exposed for a lot of things, front to back, left to right, and it's just becoming a big old mess. And all that stuff really is doing is just putting icing on the cake. But at the same time, I always tell people like this: never blame God for what a sinner chose to do, even if they come in the name of God. Don't ever lose your faith in God over what a man chose to do, even if they come in the name of God. Because a lot of people will come in the name of God and really they don't even know him. Some people are just wrapped up in religion and they think that that is being a child of God, and really they're just so far away from what that really is like. Is laughable, really. I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but still, um, you know. So this is about some of the things that I've been seeing on my Facebook page. Now, I have been wanting to talk about this for such a long time, and I don't want to just talk about it. I really wish I can do something about it. Like, I wish I can be the one to go and help everybody solve this problem in their heart, but I can't. This is all something that everybody have to do personally. This is all something that everybody have to work out personally. The Bible say to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Make your own calling and election sure. I can't make your calling and election sure for you. All I can do is point you in the right direction, and that still won't determine whether or not you will actually go or listen. So one thing I do want to say is this: the Bible prophesied how there will be so many people falling away from the faith in the end of days. This is not new. People are not finding some superpower within themselves and just coming out and just standing against the wind and just being that I don't like God superhero, right? I mean, this is not new. This has been talked about for thousands of years. It's just that now we're at that point where those thousands of years is really starting to reach right here where we are. We are at the point where the Bible is really starting to catch up with time. Or, I mean, time is catching up with the Bible. Sorry, I said that backwards. Time is actually starting to catch up with the Bible. And I know I am largely talking to a group of people who probably don't believe all that. And that's fine. But like I said, if I can be the one to go and help everybody sort this out, I definitely would, even though I cannot. So, first thing first, some of the things that I've been seeing on Facebook, and I've seen this on my Facebook page quite a few times, and it's actually kind of mind-boggling. And the reason it is so mind-boggling, it is because sometimes it is the people you would least expect. But now some of them, it's not that you didn't expect it, it's just that you didn't really know that they cared that much about God, Jesus Christ, the Bible, or anything like that to have such great bitterness in their heart towards him, right? Like these would be people you think are so far away from even caring to where it just kind of catch you off guard. Like you didn't even know that they even tried to believe before. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just random. But one thing that I will say is the reason why a lot of people are like this. Um, and there's not just one reason. Like, if I can sum up the one reason why a lot of people are like this these days, it is because the enemy is moving to pick off souls at an alarming rate. The devil is working overtime to make sure that he snatch one person at a time, even millions at a time, away from the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, if I could say there's one reason why, that could be like the number one big reason why. But at the end of the day, you cannot put blame on the devil for what you do and do not choose to believe, to have faith in. Yes, at the end of the day, it is the devil's work, but it's still down to your choice. But it's something to this that a lot of people don't know, especially in the Christian church. Now, if I were to ask somebody if they believe that their unbelief is their choice and their choice alone with no outer influence, they would probably say yeah. But what a lot of people don't know is that their unbelief can largely be demonically inspired. What some people don't know is that there are evil spirits behind the scenes that is influencing whether or not you even want to believe. What you don't know is that a lot of things that happen in your life was inspired by evil spirits to make sure you don't believe. And unfortunately, people give in to them. But the one thing that I do want to touch on today as far as why we have so much God hate, and that's the number one word I can call it, is God hate. Because if you do not have the Son, you do not have the Father either. A lot of people say, I believe in God, just not Jesus Christ. I believe in a higher power, but who's to say that it's the one in the Bible? Look, if you do not have the Son, you do not have the Father. All right. But what I'm starting to notice is that the root of a lot of this is bitterness. Bitterness is at the root of a lot of this, even if you don't really think that that's what this is about. I can see it. For some odd reason, I can see the bitterness in a person's heart just reading a Facebook post. Right? I mean, if I was to look at some of the other things that get put on the post along with God hate, it almost kind of give it away that it's bitterness. But that's not all there is to it. It take discernment to really know the root of why somebody are the way they are. Sorry. I'm on a podcast here. I got to use proper grammar, But it it take discernment to know why somebody are the way that they are. And the root of most God hate, or what you might call atheism, I don't even really think is atheism. Because a lot of them, if the Antichrist was to come saying that he is God, like they'll believe in God then. I believe a lot of them want to believe in a God. They just don't know how to accept the Bible. A lot of them would love it if they could believe in the existence of a God. They just don't know how to accept that the God they're looking for is the one they are avoiding the most. And that's how I was, right? So my situation is a bit more complex because it's like I did believe in God. Well, do, but no, like I'm talking about the past here. I did believe in God. I grew up in church, things like that, but I did not know how to actually follow Jesus Christ. Like after I reached an age of accountability, I did not know how to actually do what I call be a disciple of Jesus Christ. Every time I would try and do what I thought was turning over a new leaf and going back to church and stuff like that, it would just never stick around. And I think the real reason it never stuck around was because I had another God other than God. And sometimes that's really what it is the fact that we just got another God somewhere that's getting in the way of us being able to believe. And a lot of times that other God we have is ourselves. Yes, the root of bitterness oftentimes is you making yourself a God. Life need to measure up to how you see it. Life need to be fair according to how you see fair is. Right? Like even if you said to yourself, life need to be fair according to what God say fair is. But what you need to understand that even God gets treated unfairly. Jesus Christ, he came here for his own and they received him not. That is unfairly. Like that's unfair treatment. They gave him the penalty for sin he never committed. He took the punishment for sin he did not commit. If anybody know how it is to receive unfair treatment, it is God himself. If anybody have a right to be bitter, it is God himself. So, before we go any further, I want you to understand something. God knows what it's like to be in your shoes. Life is unfair. Bad things happen. You you had high hopes in this world. You had high hopes in life, and it all just failed you. And maybe that's not your situation. I know that that was mine. Except that's what brought me to Christ instead of drew me away from him. What really drew me away from Christ was just the simple fact that I grew up in church, right? And thank God that my mom raised me the right way. If she didn't, I don't know if I will be here to be telling you this right now. Okay, raise up a child in the way that they will go. so that when they are older, they do not depart from it. Okay. But my Christianity coming up was not my own. Like, it was not my own decision, which it usually got to start that way as a child. You know, you get brought to church and stuff like that. Your parents teach you how to pray. And then you reach an age when this got to be your choice. That's why I am not too quick to baptize my kids right now, because I want them to know what they are getting into. Right now, some people, they do what they're convicted of, and by all means, do what you're convicted of. But at a certain age, the world became more attractive to me. That's what really happened, was the world became more attractive. I still had my Christian roots in the back of my mind. God still had his hand on my life too. Like, there was times that I should have been killed, and he did not allow it to happen. Now, everybody else did but me. There was times I should have been beat up and robbed in the alley, and he did not allow it to happen. For some odd reason, it just didn't work. Like, there was times I should have had it way worse, but that don't mean I always had it easy. And that don't mean I didn't have it bad, because the Bible say this: the way of the transgressor is hard. And that's another thing you need to understand. If life seemed to be hard for you right now, to a point to where it's hard for you to believe in God, ask yourself this: have you tried to obey him, or did you just try to bring your old self into a church building? Would you, and stay that way? Have you actually tried to follow him, or did you try to get him to follow you? And see, these are questions nobody like to hear, but trust me, you heard it. It's going to stick with you for the rest of your life. If somebody would have asked me that when I was having my heyday out there in the world, I would have swore up and down that they just judging me. They don't know nothing about me. They don't know how it is to walk in my shoes. Who are you to act like you just so perfect? You act like you holier than thou, as if you never made mistakes. I remember when you used to such and such, and I remember when you did X, Y, Z. It's like, look, am I telling you the truth though? Stop judging yourself according to me. Jesus is perfect. Follow him, not me. A lot of times people are willing to stay in their wicked ways just because the person that's telling them to come out of them, they got some dirt on them from their past somewhere. And they like, nah, like, who are you to tell me this when just 5 years ago, you was at the club with me, and now you all this and all that and all that. I'm not going to receive you. Blah, 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 blah. Look, Christ is perfect. He never did nothing wrong. So listen to him, right? Like, if you don't want to listen to me, listen to him. And all I'm telling you is what he would tell you. All because it's coming out of my mouth, that don't mean that it ain't right. Right? I can't stand people like that, man. Like, for real, I just be like, look, is what I'm telling you the God honest truth? And see, sometimes, like, people can find ways to try and poke holes in the messenger, all because they don't want to receive the message. Look, if you are looking for the flaws in the messenger, stop looking. I'll show you. Like, I don't need you poking around and, trying to put two and two together. I will hand four to you already together. I am very imperfect. I talk about a lot of my mistakes on purpose. I have took the blame for things that I did not do. all because I don't want to be that person who everybody think always got it right. No, no. I want you to know that I do not always get it right. I want you to know that I have my own struggles too. I want you to know that sometime I battle doubt and unbelief in some things sometime too. Why do I want you to know that? So that you don't think this is impossible for you. I want you to know that Jesus Christ has put his spirit in an imperfect vessel. And by him making his abode in me, I by right become perfect. But because my father is perfect, I come from a perfect bloodline. That by right makes me perfect. And so you being able to have that confidence for yourself, like it could really change things though. You know, you having your confidence in Christ can spell all the difference for you. Some people walk away from God all because they think it's too hard. You know, all because some of their mistakes, like they never forgave themselves for them. And instead of just dealing with what they did or what they didn't do right, you know, they turn their weapons on the Lord instead, all because they see themselves as somebody that should be eternally condemned. And God is like, yeah, you should be. And see, that right there is what get people. Yes, I should be. But see, people want God to look at them and say, yeah, you all right with me. Nah, he not gonna do that. No, it's always something else you can work on. It's always something you ain't doing right enough. And you just need to be cool with that. But everybody, when you are your own God, when your God is your own feelings about yourself, you will get turned away by that. If I need to think that you can do no wrong, like let's just say I was God, right? If I need to think that you can do no wrong in order for you to follow me, then you don't need to follow me. You got it, right? Like it ain't no sense in you having a Lord if you can be one too. It ain't no sense in you having a God if you just as perfect as he is all by yourself. It ain't no sense in you having spiritual authority, a pastor, a husband, a father, anything, if they ain't ever allowed to correct you and just tell you when you wrong or put you in your place when you deserve to be. Honestly, because real talk, we all deserve eternal judgment in the lake of fire at the end of the day. And you can be happy about the fact that you are not there right now. That right there, the simple fact that you woke up today and you got another chance to do this, you can be happy about that. That all by itself is enough to be happy about, because people leave this world every day with big plans for tomorrow. People leave this world every day wanting to see their kids grow up. People leave this world every day on their way on vacation. People leave this world every day leaving the bar drunk, assuming that I can just, yeah, like maybe one day I can change. And you got a chance right now. You do. So that's one thing that you can really be happy about, is the fact that you have a chance today. And yeah, like I understand all that, you know, like maybe one day I can kind of change stuff because like I know how it is. Sometimes deliverance take time. And like you can live a long time just battling with something like, Lord, I don't know why I can't stop doing this. I can't let this go. And he like, look, I'ma just have to walk you through the process of being able to be the kind of person who can do this right by nature. And that's another thing people forget. Being a child of God is a nature change. It is not some rule you keep. And so many people know Christianity by religion and they don't know it by bloodline. So many people know the Bible as a book that got a bunch of rules in it you got to keep instead of it being a living book, a living book that puts the nature of Christ in you through you interacting with it. Okay, so like let me just, like let me break this down for you, right? And this is something that I realized before I even got saved. And I realized this in more secular things though. So I remember when I first wanted to get in business, like I first wanted to start a photography business for the first time. And all I ever knew was how to work a 9 to 5. Like all I had was the 9 to 5 mindset. And I did not know how to be the type of person who can actually take those kinds of risks. I didn't know how to even wrap my mind around how some people live every day and they don't have financial security. I grew up in the more like what you call it, more impoverished communities, right? And we don't get taught stuff like this. And so I came to the conclusion that if I really want to morph my mentality to be able to be more of the kind of person who can take financial risks to even start a business, I I need to feed on information and knowledge and actually practice the stuff until I just become that way by nature. And almost every day, like if it wasn't one book, it was another book. If it wasn't another book, it was another book. And while I was at my job working my 9 to 5, I would just listen to audiobooks that taught me about negotiating, that taught me about making sales, and that taught me about being more competitive and stuff like that. And just by nature, I became that kind of person. Like I even read this one book by Robert Greene and 50 Cent, right? And I'm not going to really promote the book because I really don't live by those principles anymore. All of that stuff that I learned, I do not live by any of those principles anymore. Like I gave it all away. All because after I came to Christ, my entire way of life was different. All the way down to the very genetic makeup, all the way down to my bone marrow. Everything had to change. From how I ate to what I looked at to what I let myself think. Just everything about me changed from the inside out. And I just didn't want to really live by those same principles anymore when God has different ones that work better. You know what I'm saying? And that book talked about how, well, I don't want to say it did talk about it, but through reading that book, I learned how to take the day job I had and let it teach me how I'm going to operate when I do open my photography studio. And every day at my day job, I did my job with so much clarity and excitement because I treated everybody as if they were my customer. And that's just what you will like. Those are the things that happen when you feed on information like that. Like you start becoming that way by nature, especially when you actually practice it. And that's the way the Bible works. Except this, when God put his spirit in you, you will change before you even know what's in scripture. Before you even know what the Bible say, you will already believe it. Like it took me about 6 months to a year to actually start studying the Bible when I got saved. And when I actually did start reading it, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like this already. Oh, wait a minute, I already kind of believed this was right. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm really saved for real. But because it seemed like as soon as I made the decision to receive the gospel, this is the way I became. And now that I'm sitting here reading the Bible, you mean to tell me that's what we supposed to be anyway? That's crazy. But um but that's kind of like what the Bible is. It's not just for you to just look at rules that you can't keep, right? No, it's for you to look at Christ, to put his nature in you for you to be that way without even having to think so hard about it. Now, it's going to be some things in your life that will be a fight. Like, I mean, that go without saying. Some things will be a fight. Some things take deliverance. Some things are just too ingrained in the fabric of your being, and they can actually be demonically inspired. And he need to deliver you from a lot of them demons, right? But it's that bitterness, y'all. Somehow, some way, somewhere, something went on in your life that you still blame God for to this day. Like, you can't tell me that most of people's God hate is not rooted in bitterness somewhere. Somewhere. Why? Because he let my mom die from cancer. Oh, because he let my dad die in a car accident. Oh, because I was born disabled and it's not fair. Oh, because I lost everything and I prayed to God that it wouldn't happen and he still let it happen. Don't you know that I know what that's like? I know exactly what that's like. Even after getting saved, y'all, I still had bitterness in my heart toward God that I wasn't aware of at first. And what he did was he let some things come by in my life to show me this right here. This right here. You see how you so angry at me? Right here. Yes, I understand what you mad about. And then that's when you start giving in to the voice of the devil. Oh, if God was so good, why would he? Oh, and they said God was good, but look, oh, everybody else can seem to do this and that, but God won't do that for you for nothing. God don't really love you. Yeah, yeah, just look. Yeah, now how do you know that Bible is even true after it say that you will receive whatever you ask for in his name and you didn't? It's a lot of stuff that'll go on like that and the enemy will start speaking to you about it. Don't y'all know I know what that's like even as a Christian? Like even as a believer in God, I know what that's like. And so not everybody's unbelief is rooted in bitterness toward God. Okay, it's a number of reasons why this can be the case. Some of y'all, it just too indoctrinated to even believe in God. Some of y'all spent too many years sitting up under the wrong professor in college. Some of y'all grew up in families where they practice witchcraft, or some of y'all grew up in cultures where other religions were more prominent than Christianity, and you accepting the Bible will really shatter the whole fabric of your whole life, and you just not ready for it. But something in you is saying, oh yeah, that's true right there. Oh yeah, that's true right there. But no, 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 I can't believe that, because then my mama and my daddy and the this and the that, and then everybody gonna excommunicate me. And if God was good, he wouldn't put me in that position. Look, look, I understand all of this. It's a whole lot of ways to explain a lot of this stuff. It's almost like I'm leaving people hanging, right? It's like I'm saying what a lot of people think, and I just ain't really fully explained it. And you like, yeah, if God was good, then why would he do such a thing? Look, the Bible tell us to endure hardness as a good soldier. There are always going to be things that come around to try your faith. Faith is not faith unless it's proven. Faith is not real unless it's tested. You got to have real faith, not just faith so long as everything is good. None of the prophets in the Bible who did miracles had an easy life. None. In fact, they were killed for the gospel. Like, they were killed because they served God by other people who should have been believing in God the same way they were. Killed and stoned by their own people, all because their own people wanted to have their cake and eat it too, and then put God in their back pocket somewhere and say, yeah, we're the children of God, but yet we worship idols and demons at the same time. And if we get in trouble, we can always turn back to God and pretend like we were always down with him. Right? And then you want to know what God did? Yeah, yep, you can. Uh-huh. But guess what? I'm going to make sure you go through this trouble so that way your faith become real. I'm going to make sure you go all the way through what it is you getting ready to face just because you tried to play me like that. See, a lot of people think God is a chump, right? All your days, you do what you want, you watch what you want, you say what you want, you go where you want, you sleep with who you want, you drink whatever you want, you smoke whatever you want. And then soon as you in trouble, oh God, yeah, I heard you were good, right? Yeah, what happened to that? It's like, now come on, man, like don't be trying to play me like that. Like, you wouldn't let somebody do that to you, right? You wouldn't let nobody do that to you, would you? All right, now just imagine being in a relationship with somebody. Every time you turn around, they sleeping with somebody else. Every time they get mad, they cussing you out. Every opportunity they got to spit on all of your good deeds, they took them. And then the moment they ended up in trouble, oh well, yeah, yeah, well, yeah, like, ain't you my husband? Yeah, well, I mean, like, you supposed to be the one to help me and yada 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 yada. And I'm like, you just been sitting there thinking to yourself, like, who do you think I am? Who do you think after all you said about me, after all you did to me, and now soon as you got a problem you can't sort out, now you want to hold me to who I am, and you never held yourself to who you said you were, ever. And then as soon as God makes sure you gotta go through them hardships, it's like, nah, he couldn't be real. Look, sometimes it takes self-examination, y'all. I'm so glad that I got to this point. Even though this wasn't the whole point of it, but still, like, you ain't gonna do this without self-examination. All of us deserve whatever hard time we got that we could be using as a reason to like to disobey or unbelieve in God. All of us deserve our hard times, but that don't mean God deserved for you to depart from him, right? It just don't mean that. But what most of y'all don't know is that a lot of these hardships in life are designed to break down barriers inside of your soul that's preventing you from coming all the way to him. Now I know what you thinking. Well, don't God got better ways of being able to do stuff like that? Like maybe if he blessed me instead, I believe. No, you wouldn't. And you want to know why I know people think this? Because I have. Like I'm sure, like if God brought all the good things in my life, it'd be much easier to believe. But now how am I supposed to love him and all that kind of stuff if all he bring in my life is hard times? It's like, now hold on. Right there. You said all he'd ever do is make your life hard. Okay, all he bring in your life is hard times. Is that even true? Right? See, this can be what's stopping God from showing up in a lot of people's lives, is because they want him to interact with them based on a lie. God is not going to interact with you in a lie. No, he's going to interact with you based on truth. Well, if God is real, then he'll let this thing or that thing happen in my life. It's like, but what if that's not even his will for your life? What if he got better things planned for you? What if that thing happening in your life that you think is a good thing that you'll believe in God for is what's going to destroy you? And now you putting God in a situation where he got his hands tied and he don't tolerate having his hands tied. And so guess what? He just gonna have to let you have it your way. Well, you said if I was real, then this good thing will happen for you. Guess what? The good thing ain't gonna happen for you because it ain't a good thing and I'm still real. So go ahead and believe what you want. Well, if God was real, then he'll work out my marriage. But what if that person wasn't supposed to be with you in the first place? What if they are the most demonic influence you got in your life right now? What if he just need to get you by yourself for 6 months or so, just so that way, like you can be transformed and renewed and baptized in the Holy Ghost? Don't put God in positions to where you trying to tie his hands, because you can't tie his hands. Like he's not going to obey your will. It don't work that way. But at the same time, he can do things for you that you want. Like he really can do that. Like he's known for doing that. He said to delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. What did I just say? Delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Yeah, but how many of y'all expect the desires of your heart, but don't spend your regular every day, like on a regular day, delighting yourself in the Lord? Every day is all about what you want to do, how you want to live, how you want to be, what you feel like. And then you still expect for God to give you the desires of your heart, all because you said you believe in him. Saying you believe in him is not enough. You actually have to do this. You got to walk this out. So I heard somebody say, and this just recently on YouTube, and you want to know what? I don't know if this person is a boy. I don't know if they're a girl. I don't know if they're a man, a woman, or an AI robot. I really don't know. All I know is that I just recently got a comment, and for some odd reason, I was kind of understanding them in some kind of a way. Like I don't even know what they look like, what their name is, because I don't think they use their real name on YouTube. It's anonymous something, right? And they were saying that they would only be willing to believe in God if he could be proven. And I'm like, look, now I didn't say this, like I said something else entirely. But one thing about it is God is not going to start off your relationship like that. Okay? You will hardly ever get proof in God being real unless it first starts by faith. If it don't first start by faith, good luck getting that proof. And it's like they also said, it's like, man, you have such great insight in what can't be proven. No, it just can't be proven to you because it don't first start by faith with you. See, God proved himself to me time and time again. Like he made himself real in my life. But it first started by faith. Actually, it didn't even start that way entirely. It look, God's relationship in my life started with me hearing his voice, me being convicted of my sin. Like our first conversation that day started with me being fully aware in the fact that I'm headed to hell. I mean, now who want to start a relationship off like that? Like dead sit like if it wasn't for him convicting me of my sin and actually speaking to me in my heart out of the sky blue, I would have never thought of my day going like that when I woke up that morning. Never. Out of the sky blue, all of a sudden I became so aware of the fact that I need to get right with God right now. And it wasn't just me becoming aware of it. I didn't just think this up. It came upon me. He came upon me himself. But by faith, I knew that was God. By faith, I knew that if I received the gospel and I repented of my sins, he was going to forgive me. By faith, I knew this is my wake-up call right here. By faith, I said yes to the gospel. By faith, I knew that the only reason he made me aware of that was out of love because he didn't want to see me perish. Because one thing about it is that he's not letting another devil in hell again. I mean, he's not letting another devil in heaven again. No, 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 no. No, no. Heaven will not be at war again because of another devil. And no, he didn't let a devil in heaven either. An angel decided to become one. And he ain't going through that no more. The lake of fire is for look, the lake of fire was originally made for Satan and his angels. If you would rather follow Satan and his angels, then you will have no other choice but to go where they go. I mean, there's no other way around it. God have a system and the books will be balanced. That's just the way it is. And I know how hard that sounds. Like, yes, he's merciful. Yes, he's willing to forgive you over and over and over again. All the way to a point to where it don't even seem fair that he forgive you so much. That's the real reason some people can't forgive themselves is because they know if God forgave you, it would not be fair. And you saying to yourself, if I was God, It wouldn't be fair for me to forgive somebody for doing what I did. So why would I believe that he would ever forgive me? That's the thing. You are not God, and he is far more righteous than you. So now, take that. But if you are not willing to have faith, then it won't be proven to you, like not the way you think it will. See, over time, God proved itself more and more real to me. But by faith, I just believed that was him. And I became a completely changed individual from that day forward. No, this didn't happen in church. No, this didn't happen from receiving a tract. No, this didn't happen from reading the Bible and being convinced of it. And that's another word that was so common in that conversation is being convinced. Right? God did not convince me that he was real. No, he convicted me. The gospel is not intended to convince people. The gospel is intended to change people, get people to see themselves in light of Christ and come up higher. But you won't be left alone to do that by yourself, right? Like he will give you the power to become a new person. He will give you the power to become a new creation. You don't gotta sort that out by yourself. And some people scared to come to God, all because they know they don't know how to change. And instead of God being true and you just having to be the one to change, you say to yourself, well, because I don't know how to be what the Bible want me to be, but yet I still want to not go to hell, right? Or because I still want a form of godliness, even if it was another religion. And because I don't know how to stop living like what the Bible calls sin, I can't even imagine my life not living that way. Somehow, some way, I have to make God fake. Somehow, some way, I have to believe in a God somehow. And it can't be Jesus, because if I accept the fact that it's Jesus, then that's me accepting the fact that I just might perish. But because I don't know how to not be the way I am. That right there was a problem I had at a point in time in my life. It's like, yeah, I mean, I do, like like it makes sense that God is real. Man, but what if it's just really not this? And the root of it was I'm knee deep in sin, don't know how to change. And so now I got to try and change what God is or who God is, because I don't want to fit into his box. I need God to fit into mine, so that way I don't have to live my whole life feeling like I might not go to heaven. Right? A whole lot of people are like that. A whole lot of them are. Now, I know I originally started talking about bitterness. And like bitterness is like one of the main reasons why a lot of people lose faith in the Lord. But at the same time, what I just got done saying is one of the reasons why people spend their lives trying to find some other way, trying to enter in through some other door, all because they know they are not fitting to enter through the straight gate. Right? Man, look, don't hold up your relationship with God trying to figure out how you can come perfect first. That don't work. I'm telling you, it don't work. You will never come perfect first. It just don't happen like that. Well, I don't know how to quit smoking. And if the Bible is real, then that means I'm going to hell. So therefore, I got to get to a God some other way. Like I got to find some other way to convince myself that maybe God is not the God in the Bible. Look, trust me, I know what that's like, y'all. I do. That held me up for so I remember contemplating that thought in my head. Way before I got saved, I remember contemplating that thought in my head. Right? Like I was addicted to pornography, all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, at the same time, I still wanted like to so badly believe in God. I just didn't want to accept the fact that I am not at all fit for heaven at all. And I don't know how to be different. Oh, and that wasn't my only thing. I mean, I was like, I would, but just like most of the world, right? Like I had all the same sins as most of the world. That was just one of them. I didn't know how to stop smoking weed. I couldn't imagine my life without a blunt. Couldn't. And I'm like, well, maybe God don't got a problem with it. And if the Bible do, then maybe God is not the God in the Bible. Or maybe Christians got it wrong all these years. Or maybe, look, maybe you need to cry out to God for help. And instead of trying to change God because you don't know how you going to change yourself, just cry out to God for help. I'm telling you, it worked. Now, I done called a lot of people's number right now. I done said what most of y'all sit back and think in the back of y'all's minds. Y'all just didn't know that somebody else know what that's like. And I'm still telling you this. That's because I've been in a lot of people's shoes before. And guess what? God is still true. Jesus Christ is still Lord at the end of all of that. I was so embarrassed to find out that Jesus Christ wasn't only real, but he was the one thing in my life that I spent so much time and energy trying to avoid. I didn't even realize I was trying to avoid him. I didn't realize I was trying to come to the knowledge of some truth as long as it wasn't him. I didn't even know that I was like that until he pointed it out to me. And I'm like, you know what? That's true. I did do that. I was like that. I spent all this time searching for some truth as long as it wasn't you. Didn't even know I was doing that. Just wasn't even aware of the fact that I was like that until he said it. And I'm like, now that I can sit back and think about it, yeah, yup, that's me. Yup, yup, that's me. Like that happened the first time me and him had that first interaction I was telling you about. I would never forget it. I was a mix between scared, embarrassed, wore out, tired, shook, stuck, everything. All because I went all this time believing I can get to God myself while avoiding him at the same time. Now, how in the world is that going to happen? Right? Like how can you get to God yourself and avoid Jesus Christ? It just won't work. And instead what people do is argue about it. Well, how you even know that's real? Well, the Bible contradict itself. Well, the Bible condones stuff that ain't even right. It's like, wait a minute now. What if you just believe a lie? Right? Like all you really got to do is just sit back and think about it. What if the way you think is just not right? Now, if I really sat here and pointed this out to you, you still gonna do some kind of monkey trick in the back of your mind to make me sound like I don't make sense or like I'm the one brainwashed here. I used to think Christians was brainwashed at a point in time too. I did. And you want to know look, a whole lot of them is though. I ain't lying. Like a whole lot of them are so far away from just being in a relationship with God. So many of them are so wrapped up in religion and they think that that is following God. Honestly, a whole lot of them brainwashed. A whole lot of them are in cults that they call churches. Yes, not every church is a good church. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all about that. That's why I say don't blame man for what don't blame God for what men choose to do. Because like they can very well be a servant of the devil, and if the devil was real, that makes God real too. All right. So one thing that I will say to that person that I had this interaction with on YouTube is this. Now they said that they need to be convinced, or no. Like they said that unless God can be proven, then they'll be convinced. But one thing I want to tell you is that the gospel can be proven. It's just that if I do all the work to do it, you still won't believe it unless you first have faith. And if you first got if you first got enough faith to let somebody prove it to you, then you got faith to just believe God himself. Look, he said this, even if somebody was to rise from the dead, people still wouldn't repent. In the book of Revelation, which is the time we live in now, people will receive judgment from God, knowing that it's God, cursing God while they're at it, and they still won't believe. But now, what kind of sense do that make? Right? I just don't get it. Like it first got to start by faith. Without faith, it just won't happen. It just won't happen. And I mean, it honestly take far more faith to not believe in God than to actually believe in him. Like I honestly, like you got faith in something, you just apply it the wrong way. It's like it's on the wrong side of the scale. I mean, like you can't say you don't have faith. Like you got enough faith to walk around here every day believing there is no God. But now that right there is great faith right there. It just is. But the gospel can actually be demonstrated through what? Signs and wonders. We actually talked about that too. Now, I don't want to go back to that whole conversation. Actually, you know what? I think it's time for me to just go ahead and do that, right? Let's just go back to that whole interaction here. Or not the whole thing, but like the last part of it. And no, I'm not making this video to put them on the spot. Like this was already something that I have been wanting to talk about for weeks now, because it's like every time I get on Facebook, it's somebody F Jesus. Yeah. And F all of y'all who believe in him. I'm like, wow, what happened to them? Like, what in the world happened to that person? I'm like, this is crazy. So, they left a comment and said, in the TNG The Devil's Due episode, there was a lady that was pretending like she was the devil and pretending like she had magical powers, but it was eventually discovered that she was just a liar that wanted power. Well, if a being like that come to earth and it called itself a god and it could do amazing things that I would only think a god was able to do, then I would be convinced that it was a God, even if it actually wasn't. That right there, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why so many people will follow the Antichrist. That thinking right there is why so many people will take the mark of the beast. That right there is prime picking. But at the same time, like your faith is in something, like you willing to believe in something, you just don't want it to be Jesus. And I'm gonna tell you why a lot of people would love to believe in a God as long as it's not Jesus. Because we have to repent of our sins. He challenges everything about us, but he don't challenge us without helping us. That's the thing. We don't serve a God who put a load on our back that he won't give us the power to carry. I used to believe that God was somewhere in heaven and he was just looking for every reason in the world to send people to hell. I used to think that about God. Like God was just this, just this big bad judge pointing his finger down at everybody, just looking for every reason in the world to send somebody to hell. That's what I used to think about God. I used to think that. Me, the one telling you all of this, I used to think that. I used to think that the only thing God cared about is what people doing wrong. I used to think that the only thing God made us for was to destroy us. That's what I used to think. I used to think that God really don't want nobody in heaven that bad, because if he did, then why did he make it so hard for us to do right? I used to think like that. I did. What changed? Well, I mean, he obviously got proven somehow. Heck, I mean, because a mind like that is like, bruh, look. And sometimes I run into people like this to this day all the time. And I'm like, man, it's going to take an absolute miracle to save that person. And I'm like, but wait, I was like that. Oh, well, dang it. Like that was a miracle then. Oh, and I said this. Very shortly, there will be a man possessed of Satan working lying signs and wonders who will convince the world of himself being God himself, and many will be deceived. That is where needing to be convinced will lead people. The gospel is not meant to convince you, but to speak to you personally, convict you, and deliver you. And he said, your insight on the unproven is amazing. Honestly, it's only unproven to those without faith. Honestly, it is only unproven so long as you need it to be proven. Like you have to let that go. Let God be great, man. Like you just gotta let that go. I don't need God to prove nothing to me. Like if he want me, I'm here. If he don't, I don't know what else to do. Honestly, because I can't make God want me. Like I can't make God show up in my life. I cannot make myself go to heaven. I just can't do it, Lord. I'm gonna need your help. If you telling me that this Bible stuff is more real than the pages I'm reading it on, then I am in trouble. And I do not want to be in trouble. I don't like the sound of believing that I'm in trouble. Therefore, God, I need a miracle. You're going to have to change me from the inside out and do something that I cannot do for myself. That's the prayer, y'all, right there. The gospel can be demonstrated because it don't take somebody possessed by Satan to have magical powers. Well, only those serving the devil, it is magic. But a servant of God is not magic. It come out of them by nature. Oh, yes, like we can actually heal the sick. We can cast out demons. We can do greater things than any witch can ever do. We can't. Like, that's why the Bible say that the Antichrist will do lying signs and wonders. It's not that the sign and wonder is not just as real as you being able to see it. It's all from dark power. It lead you to believe a lie, or it really could just be fake for real and it's just being made to look that way. All I know is this: if somebody come calling fire down from heaven, now I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know if it's gonna be some satellite. I don't know if it's gonna be some hologram to make it look that way. I don't know if it's gonna be real fire. I don't know. All I know is this: if I see a man claiming to be God walking this earth before Jesus Christ actually returned, that's the devil. If I see somebody doing signs and wonders and they're not pointing me to the gospel, that's the devil. Like, those miracles that the Bible talked about is real. I've seen them before. I've participated in them. Look, I'm telling you this. And you want to know the craziest part about that? When God first used me to do such a thing like that, I wasn't in a good state. No, I was not perfect before God at all. It's just I was the only man he had standing there at the time, and I had enough faith to believe that God can do it. Like, it's just that me myself, I wasn't all the way there. Still had enough faith though. Like I believed him enough. Like, hey, like, look, all I got left is faith. I don't got good works. All I got left is the faith that you can do something about this. And I do not want to see this person die, not while I'm sitting here. I just don't want to see this. Please, please do something. He's like, you lay your hand on him. And I will. I was so scared. And what scared me the most is that I knew that my life was not perfect before God, and he still did that. That's telling you something. Like, that's a witness to you, right? Like, that ain't no witness to me. That's a witness to you. I still had things that I had to be delivered from. I was fresh off the backsliding chopping block, bro. I was trying to pull my faith back together. I was trying to pull my walk with God back together. In the middle of that, my first time ever seeing a miracle that some of y'all might call magic powers, if it was somebody else who wasn't a servant of God, still had my faith intact. Look, I had enough faith to knew it was time for me to get myself right. Heck, like, it could have got worse than that. Like, like I could have never got right. Right? Look, like, I could be with everybody else on Facebook talking about F Jesus. Like, it's getting ugly out here, y'all. The Bible prophesied about a lot of people turning away from the faith. Well, in order to turn away from the faith, you got to first be in it. And the Bible also prophesied about there will be a lot of mockers, scoffers, and unbelievers. Unbelievers. Deception will be at an alarming rate in the last days. That is the number one sign of being in the last days, is how many people are deceived. Do not let the spirit of this age deceive you. It is popular to hate God. It's the thing to do. It's what all the cool kids are doing these days. 666 and, you know, playing with demons, and everybody's got a pet demon these days. Like, haven't you noticed that? Everybody is just too comfortable with demons these days. It's all in the music. It's all in the movies. It's all on TV. Now, if the world who don't follow God know but to follow the devil on purpose, then what is that telling you? God must be real. And out of the same mouth, we will say, man, the world is so evil. Oh man, the world is so evil. Yeah. And at the same time, they telling you Jesus ain't real. But so you're going to receive truth from somebody that's evil. Look, it sounds just like a devil to want to, try and tell you not to believe in God. Don't let them do you that way. Don't let them take away from you the only thing you can have left when this world ends. Bad enough they take all your money and taxes and bills. They take all your time at these dead end day jobs. And don't let them take away your faith too. That's all you got. For real. Heck, I mean, they take your kids away from you, from the school system. They take you away from your kids because you gotta spend 12 hours breaking your back from somebody else. Still don't make enough money. All the food poison, all the air poison, all the water poison. And you're gonna let them take your faith away from you too? Nah, forget that. Keep that faith and use it against them. For real. Because there's gonna be a time when spiritual war is gonna be manifested physically. All the miracles I talked about, oh yeah, like that can actually be used as a weapon against the devil. Not spiritual gifts is not only meant for healing people. Oh no, have you heard of some of the spiritual gifts Moses did? Like, look, look. I'm I'm just saying. And like you got to take the whole Bible into account, but not just part of it. All the little magic tricks that the magicians did. Wait. All the spiritual gifts Moses did, the magicians tried to mimic up into a point, and then they couldn't cross that line because they didn't have the power to do what Moses was doing. I mean, they didn't even have the power to undo all the things that Moses was doing, all to let the people free, all to set the people free. Like, I mean, you talking about the whole country being swarmed in locusts. Oh, yeah, now the magicians couldn't do nothing with that, right? Like, it was all fun and games when we was turning a staff into a snake and, stuff like that. Oh, yeah, now get to a point where hail is coming out of the sky and turning into fire as soon as it land. Yeah, now I want to see the magicians do that. Nah, they can't do that. It's a lot of people out here who will convince you to not believe in God by telling you that the witchcraft they can do is real power. There is real witches and real warlocks out here with real power. Yeah, but they can't cross certain boundaries. We can. We are the glitches in the matrix. Look, imagine playing a video game and you tried to go swimming in the water, right? And you ended up on top of it running. You would say to yourself, man, like my game glitching. I'm supposed to be swimming. Well, didn't Jesus walk on top of water too? We are the glitches in the matrix. Don't you hate it here? Look, you gotta hate it here enough to want nothing but God because the world is unfair. And guess whose world this is? The Bible say that the whole world lies in the wicked one. Oh, but don't it also say that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof? The world and the earth are not the same thing. Earth is the land, the world is the system. All the systems, all the kingdoms of this world has been betrayed in the hands of Satan. That's why life is so unfair. And you gotta hate it here enough to want nothing but God to deliver you. It's gonna start by faith, but let me tell you something. If life get hard, that could be your way to believe. He could be working things out just to get you to a point of removing barriers that's blocking you from being able to believe. Just don't let that hardship push you to the devil, because some people make that decision. Some people do. But other than that, y'all, I I am I'm gonna test the waters on these podcasts a little bit more. Because like I said though, most of what is on my channel really don't gotta be watched. Honestly. All I would have had was a video of me doing this same exact thing. And what's the point in watching me say this when you can just listen? I'm just testing the waters on this. And I want to start doing this live. Honestly, I do. I just got some new equipment, some pretty nice outboard studio equipment. Um, like I really thank God for providing a way for us to be able to get that stuff, man. We just got a Neve clone, 1073 clone, uh, with 2 channels with the EQs and things like that. Uh, and that thing actually sound good. Like, do my audio sound pretty good right now? But like, it's not just the mic; it's everything else my mics are running through. And I'm trying to really set up a system to where my audio can sound absolutely professional, and I don't even gotta edit the videos to even really get them that way. Because most of the time I spend in video editing is not even on the video, it's the audio, right? Trying to get the compression right, trying to get the EQ right, all of that stuff. Like, all, man, like I'm so tired of that, man. I'm like, dude, like, you need a nice good set of preamps, set of equalizers, a set of compressors, and just record it and then just finish the video just like that. All that extra tweaking, all that extra this, extra that. And then, like, another thing you can do is you can do all of this live and won't have to edit nothing. And your sound will sound just like you actually took the time to edit that. Like, I'm really trying to shave off editing time, because that increase how much, like, look, all of that stuff go into why it takes so long to get videos out. I'm trying to get the message across with very minimal editing time, unless it's something that really do need it. And like, a lot of these talking head videos, they don't really need a lot of that, man. Like, all you need to do is just get a system, get it to sound good, get it to look good if it's meant to be seen, hit the record buttons, and just upload the video. Right? It's just all about a system. All about a system. I'm trying to put all of that together right now. But other than that, man, y'all have a good rest of your day. I thank everybody for supporting the channel. I am about to finally get ready for bed. It is almost 8 o'clock in the morning, and I got to work all night long. So peace. And yeah, this might be on my Facebook. I don't really put a lot of my videos on Facebook anymore, because I don't know. I feel like I get shadow banned a lot on Facebook. Like, I feel like the more I talk about the gospel, the less my stuff gets seen. And so I just feel like Facebook is a waste of my time. Like, honestly. But now that I'm starting to see so many God haters on there, and people are literally losing their minds. It almost sounds like they are bitter at God about something. And I think that's what it really is. I think that's what it really is. It just Most of the time, it all boils down to that. But other than that, man, y'all have a blessed rest of your day. If y'all have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Peace.